Hi guys, so we're going to do my mini course today. I'm really excited. It's going to be like a cooking show, so I'm excited about that. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to talk a little bit about like different like tools you might need if you want to meal prep. It doesn't really matter, whatever you feel comfortable with. So I'll show you some of the things that I use though, and you can like probably do them as well. I like these Tupperwares. They're about 3 1/8 cup. That's how much they hold. And I use these for like my lunch and for my dinners. Another thing that you'll see a lot with meal prep are mason jars. So people use mason jars a lot. I use them for my breakfast because I usually do like oatmeal or overnight oats. I sometimes use them for lunch. If I'm doing like salad, sometimes I'll make soup and I'll put them in these as well. But you'll see these a lot if you go through like Pinterest or whatever looking at meal preps. So I just have a lot of Tupperware in general. These are a little bit bigger. I like to use these for either like rice, pasta, or soup. Another thing is just having like Ziploc bags handy. I use those like sometimes I like to do my chips or snacks. I like to meal prep those out sometimes as well. So I use Ziploc bags for that if I have like a bigger container. Or sometimes I just buy the individual ones because it makes it a lot easier. Another thing you might see people use are scales. So I have 2 different scales. They kind of, I think this one holds a little bit less than this one does, but you don't really need a scale. It just really depends. I kind of like doing the scale. So like when I'm meal prepping out like a lunch, I usually do like around 8 ounces or so, and then when I do a dinner, I usually do about 10 ounces. That's what I found kind of keeps me full, is a good number for me. You don't have to use that, just whatever you want to use, but I like doing these so I can be a little bit more accurate. If you're tracking your calories, if you're tracking your macros, having a scale is really important. But if you're just eating, just to be eating or eating for just enjoyment, you really don't have to do that. But if you're really looking to like tune in on what you're consuming, how much of it, and like all of the nutritional values that come with it as well, it's really good to have a scale, because if you do it based off like measuring cups, it's not always as accurate. But if you have a scale, it's always going to be accurate, so you can know that, okay, this amount of weight is this many calories. So that's something I kind of sort of like to use too. Okay, so I'm excited. Guys, we're going to do overnight oats. We're going to do some chicken salad for lunch, and then we're also going to do like a cauliflower fried rice. So like a lot of people are kind of seeing like cauliflower rice has been really popular lately, and so I was like, I'm going to show you guys how to make it yourself. So come on over. Alright, so I have 2 pans going. I'm going to do my chicken. I'm doing chicken in my chicken salad and chicken in my cauliflower fried rice. And so I already have them on. I sprayed, I have extra virgin olive oil as a cooking spray. I like it because it's a neutral flavor. It's not a lot of fat in it, and it's really good. And so I'm just gonna get going my chicken salad first. So come over. So for my chicken salad, I use these different seasonings. So I use kosher salt. I use this one. This is really good. I got this from Trader Joe's the other day. It's called Mushroom and Company's Multi-Purpose Umami Seasoning Blend. And so basically what it is, we have 5 taste buds basically. You have sweet, you have sour, you have bitter, you have salty, and then the last one's umami, is one they kind of found in Japan. They kind of associate that with like an earthy taste. And you find that like in mushrooms where you mostly find it. And so basically what's in this is kosher salt, dried onions, ground mustard seed, 2 different types of mushroom powders, crushed red pepper and black pepper, and dried thyme. And so it kind of it's not like a real like distinguishing taste for it, but it just kind of gives you like a savory taste. So I put that in both of my them. But for the chicken, I have ground cumin, because my chicken salad, I'm kind of doing like a southwestern kind of feel. I don't really like chicken salad because I don't like mayonnaise, so I don't like that traditional like relishy, sweetie kind of taste. So I kind of go like southwest with it, right? And so I have my cumin. Cumin's really good, a really good spice. If you're doing like Mexican food, like if you go to Chipotle, they use cumin, so that kind of taste, that's where you kind of find that. Also, I really like spicy food. So I have some Chipotle chili, just for some spice. I have some zest of a lime in there. I have cilantro. So cilantro is another one of those spices that you'll get in like Mexican food often. Basically, it gives you that real distinguishing Mexican type flavor, right? The only thing about cilantro though, you don't want to use a lot because it'll start to kind of taste soapy if you're not careful. So, that's one of the nuts. I also added a little bit of celery seed because like it's still chicken salad. I still want to get that chicken salad kind of taste. So, you usually have a lot of celery in chicken salad, so I have the celery seed in that. Okay. I'll go ahead and tell you guys for my, and also did garlic powder. I love garlic, so I put garlic in everything. For my actual cauliflower one, I used the similar one. So I used the same kosher salt. I used the nami seasoning. I used the garlic powder. This time I just used ground cayenne red pepper. And then I use Asian 5 spice. And I like this one because it gives you like the Asian taste. So basically what's in it is cinnamon, anise, ginger, fennel, and cloves. So it gives you that real distinguishing Asian feel because I'm going like the fried rice, right? And I did a little bit of lime zest in that one as well. Okay, so we'll start off with both of them going. So this one, I've had this kind of marinating for about, I use chicken tenders, and so I just cut them up into like smaller pieces, and then I just had it been kind of seasoning for the last maybe hour or so. So I'll go ahead and get that going. And so I kind of like pan frying it a little bit, and we're just gonna let that cook. And then I'm also going to go ahead at the same time get going my other one. So this is for my cauliflower. And it has like the little seasoning I told you guys about. It doesn't really take chicken tenders that long to cook. I wait until it's all white. I also have a thermometer for chicken. You want to make sure it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit to make sure it's done. But it won't take chicken tenders that long because white meat, there's not a lot of fat in it, so it won't take it that long. I'm just making sure that all the pieces are kind of like separated, so they're not like, the pan's not too crowded. What I'm trying to get is make sure that all sides are like brown and caramelized, so that's where you get all the flavoring. So I'm just gonna let that go for a little bit. Okay, so while we wait for that to cook, we're gonna go over to our breakfast side, right? So the thing is, like with meal prepping, even when you're just cooking like a bunch of different stuff, you kind of want to multitask a little bit, as much as possible, right? So I'm gonna do my overnight oats while the chicken's over there cooking, right? So I have my mason jars, and I typically do my meal prep on Sundays, and today's Thursday, so like the week is basically over. I usually cook Sunday evening after I've already eaten dinner, and I typically go out to eat for dinner on Sundays, and so then I usually prepare for Monday through Saturday. I know a lot of times people are like, oh, I can't meal prep because I can't eat the same thing every single day. But the thing is, you don't have to do a whole week's worth. Like what I'm going to do, I'm literally making about 2 or 3 days worth of food, and what you can do is you can do that, and then let's say you do it on Sunday, so then that'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday night you can do another meal prep and do it for the rest of the week. You can switch it up. You don't have to eat the same thing. I don't mind eating the same thing. Like if it's good, I'm like, ooh, that was good, I can't wait till tomorrow. But like some people don't like to eat the same food every day, so like you don't have to do it like a whole week's worth. Okay, so for oatmeal, I'm using just regular quick oats. They're the rolled oats. I have done the steel cut oats, but the thing that I find is like one serving of rolled oats is the same calories as 1 serving of steel cut oats. But the difference is that there's more volume in the rolled cut oats. So basically it means that for the same amount of calories, you get twice as much of the rolled than you do the steel cut. So I just switched back to the rolled oats. They're cheaper as well, so that's also very helpful. I'm doing a 1/2 cup of the rolled oats. Let's see here. I'm gonna do my seasoning. So I'm kind of getting like a pie type feeling. So I have cinnamon, and then I also have ginger, right? And so I'm just do a couple shakes of each. I really like cinnamon, so I might do a little bit more cinnamon, do a little bit less ginger. I think I like the ginger. It kind of like switches it up a little bit, and it adds to it a little bit. The next thing I'm going to add, I have yogurt. This is just a regular Greek yogurt. This is the vanilla flavor. You don't have to add yogurt to your overnight oats. I like to add it just so I can get a little bit more protein. So in this one container, there's 15 grams of protein. And I like to get as much protein as possible throughout my day because protein makes you feel full. So I like to add it there. I'm going to get a spoon. Okay, so I'm back. I got a spoon. And I would typically, so with 1 container of yogurt, I would probably split 1 container into about 3 servings. So I'm not going to use absolutely all of it. And you really don't need to. So I just add the yogurt next, kind of layering in it. But when I eat it tomorrow, I'll just mix the whole thing up. I like Greek yogurt better than the regular yogurt because there's more protein in it. That's pretty much the only reason I chose the Greek over the other one. And so the next thing I'm going to add is my fruits. So let me get my cutting board. I have 2 different fruits that I'm going to do because, you know, variety is the spice of life. I have strawberries, and then I'm also doing blackberries. And all my fruit has already been washed. Everything's been washed already ahead of time. And so I'm just going to cut my strawberries because, you know, I don't want necessarily a big piece of it. And I'm just going to like cut them in half. I have actually probably more. I probably have 2 servings of strawberries, but I'll just put them all in. Yeah, or like 1.5 more likely. Because I'm cutting my strawberries, this is going to be the one I eat tomorrow. When you cut your fruit, you want to make sure that you eat that a little bit quicker because it's going to go bad a little bit sooner than if you keep your fruit whole. So what I do when I do overnight oats, sometimes I'll do strawberries, I'll do blackberries, and I'll do like blueberries. The blueberries and the blackberries I'll eat later on in the week, so that might be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the strawberry ones I'll eat probably Monday, Tuesday. Because I'm cutting the strawberries, that means they're more exposed to the air, and that means they're going to go off quicker. And so my blackberries, I just keep whole. We're coming into the summertime. Well, it's spring now. So spring, summer, you're going to really start getting a lot of your fruits and vegetables. So like I like to go to the farmer's market. They usually have really good produce. And so I like to go there for my blackberries particularly. The last thing I'm going to add are just almonds. I like having some type of crunch. These are the sliced almonds. I just put those on top. Now you could be really like intricate and like measure each one of them, but because I'm not really tracking anything right now, I'm not going to. The last thing I'm going to do is add my almond milk because I'm using the sweetened vanilla flavored almond milk. If I was not making if I wasn't doing overnight oats, if I was just doing regular one to have like some milk around the house, I would do the unsweetened, unflavored kind. That's good for like baking. It's good for general cooking as well as good for your cereal. So I use almond milk in cereal. That's what I mostly use it for. But if I wanted to do like baking or something, I use the regular unsweetened, unflavored one. But because I'm doing almond oats, this is going to be where I get most of my sweetness from. Because I didn't add any sugar, so the sweetness is only going to come from the yogurt and from the fruit. So that's why I get the flavored sweetened kind. And basically what I do is I just make sure I cover the oats. And let it like seep down. And I'll put a little bit more in this one to make sure they're completely covered. Because I'm going to eat these within the next day, 2 days, I go ahead and put the milk in both of them. If I was doing a week's worth, I would only put maybe the first couple of days worth in, and then I would just put the container in without the milk, so then that way it doesn't get too soggy. But because I'm going to eat them in within like 2 days, I am comfortable with keeping it the way that is. So yeah, that's breakfast done. So now we're going to go back over to my chicken. And so now, chicken's been sitting here cooking. It looks a little bit different from the last time you guys saw it. This one's probably about ready. This is almost ready as well. So I'm just going to keep turning it around, making sure that it, browns on all sides. I turned the heat down so it like wouldn't burn, If I was only doing like one at a time, I probably would have to heat up a little bit higher, just so that it would then cook in a little bit quicker. So I can turn, because I'm back over here, I can turn this back up a little bit. I believe this one is about ready actually though. Okay. So, I don't like traditional chicken salad. Like, it's okay. I've grown to like it a little bit more. When I first started like meal prepping and doing my own chicken salad, I just could not really do it. So I would put the smallest amount of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise weirds me out. It's not like a health thing. I just get weirded out by mayonnaise. But yeah. And so that's how I kind of developed this recipe, because I wanted chicken salad because it's really affordable, And I'm always conscious of like how much money I'm spending on like my groceries or whatever. And so I was like, okay, what can I use to help bind this stuff together besides mayonnaise, or to be able to use the least amount of mayonnaise possible? And my answer to that was limes. So that's why I have my limes. So I use lime juice basically, and it still goes very well with the whole like Southwest type feel. You have limes, you can just roll them around a little bit to make sure you're getting all the juice. This is the lime that I zested, that's why it looks like this. But yeah. So toss. Make sure that's good and done. If I was doing like a week's worth, I would have done more chicken, but because I'm only doing a couple of days, that's why it's not that much chicken in this one. Toss. Make sure we're getting some even color. So, I'm going to go ahead with the dressing part. Now, you make your chicken salad whatever way you like to make it. And don't talk about me and my chicken salad, because this is how I like it, right? So, it's funny with my kids, when I do cooking demos for kids a lot. And one of the things we have to tell them is like, don't yuck my yum. So, if I think something is good, don't you go saying, ew, that's nasty. Like, no, don't yuck my yum. So, yeah. I put a little bit of mayonnaise in, and that's probably about as much mayonnaise as I'm going to put, to be honest. The next thing I'm going to add is my lime juice. You can also use like the lime juice that's already in the bottle, so the part that they already have out. And I have some in my refrigerator that I might grab, because this lime isn't as ripe as I would want it to be, but still all good. Alright. Because it's chicken salad, another thing that I'm going to add is some celery. You can also add a little bit of like walnuts. Sometimes I do walnuts. I decided not to this time. And I'm just going to mix that up. I don't want like a super thick sauce though. So like you might be like, oh, your sauce is really thin. I'm like, yeah, because I don't really like chicken salad. That's pretty much it. So now my chicken is ready, right? And it has some really good color on it, so I'm really pleased with how that looks. And so I'm just going to go ahead and toss my chicken into the bowl. And because the chicken still has a lot of the juice to it, it's gonna help create that sauce. I don't like a thick sauce. I like a thin sauce. But you do it how you want to do it, you know. What I like about this recipe as well, because I'm not using a lot of the mayonnaise, it's gonna be a lot lower in calories. So yeah, let's see. Do I want to add anything else? I might add a little bit more of the celery. And I kind of like eyeball it from this point. Like, okay, is that enough? Is that enough of the sauce? Do I want to add something more? I feel like just by looking at it, it's like, okay, I could add a little bit more mayonnaise. It wouldn't kill me to add a little bit more. So I'll add a little bit more. And then I'll add more of the lime just to kind of help, you know, balance it. But the thing about all of this is you want to make sure everything just stays balanced. And so then, I'm going to use my spoon. And then this is probably about as balanced as it's probably going to get for my liking. If I do tuna salad, that one gets a lot. I add a little bit more to it. But as far as chicken salad, that's about as good as it's going to get for me. I like it just like this. So, I'm going to leave this here because this is done now. And I'll assemble it how I would for lunch a little bit later. So now we're going to go over to, let me see. I believe at this point, this chicken is done as well. So we got some really good coloring on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my chicken off to the side. Turn off the heat just so I don't, you know, burn my house down. That wouldn't be great for TV. And I'm just going to put my chicken off to the side. Okay, so that's going to sit there and hang out for a little bit. So, I want to show you guys how to make cauliflower rice. Actually, I have some. They usually come like this. So, you can find it in like the freezer aisle. It's rice cauliflower. It looks like this. And the thing is, you can also find them in like the salad aisle. So, like sometimes when you have your bag salad, they will have rice cauliflower there as well. They also usually have like the zoodles and all that other stuff there too. The thing is though, that one bag will be about, I think, $2.49 or $3.29, depending on where you're at, right? And so, but the thing is, a head of cauliflower costs the exact same. But the difference is that head of cauliflower is going to yield way more cauliflower rice than that little bag. So if you want, like, I would recommend basically you just getting the cauliflower. If you have a food processor, just do it yourself, you know? But it's up to you, you know, do whatever is convenient for you. So, I have some cauliflower, right? It was a whole cauliflower, and I just like chopped it up a little bit. Okay, so all you have to do is put in your food processor. And so, hold on. Kind of got to push it down in there. Alright, and so all I'm going to do is press it. And you keep going until you get the texture that you want. I want mine to really resemble rice. You know, rice is really small, so I'm going to keep going for it. Rice cauliflower. It was really that easy, and you get a lot more for your money. So I'm just going to dump it in this bowl right here. And then we'll take it over here to my bowl. And this is the same one that we had our chicken going in. I wanted to keep like those juices and that flavor from the chicken to kind of make sure everything kind of marries really nicely together. So I'm gonna let that get back up to heat. I did take a shortcut. Basically, I had in the that same aisle where they usually have like your salad mixes, they sometimes have pre-chopped vegetables. That's another thing that you could possibly do if you want to make sure you're not spending a lot of time cooking. So this had the onions, carrots, and then celery. I separated out the celery because I wanted to use that for my chicken salad. But I wanted to use the carrots and the onions for the cauliflower rice. And it was just easier for me to go ahead and buy this as opposed to chopping up, buy them all individually and chopping them up, you know? But you do whichever you want, you know? I'm all about doing you. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this, we're going to saute these a little bit. Try to get a little bit of color. I don't want that much of it though. So we're not going to use the whole entire thing. I'm going to add a pinch of salt to it. For onions, you definitely want to salt them. So that way it helps them release their juices. And so then I'm just going to let them go. I won't let them go all the way until they get translucent, but I'll just kind of get them going. Because it's going to cook with everything else, so I don't want these to be like mush by the time I'm done with everything, you know? So yeah, I'm going to let that start going, right? And so the next thing I'm going to add is a little bit of garlic. Because again, I told you guys, I really like garlic, right? And so I got a new can just for you guys. Thanks. So I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic. And I'm going to let them go kind of around the same time. So this is another one of those shortcuts. I get the minced garlic so I don't have to sit and like cut garlic by myself, like cut it myself. I just go ahead and get the kind that's already minced. And it just makes this a lot quicker. Because I don't necessarily want to be spending my whole evening, you know, cooking, right? So I'm going to let that go for a couple more moments. And then I'm going to go at my next thing. So the next thing I am going to add are going to be my carrots. Because I like fried rice and I like to have carrots in my fried rice. And so these were already the ones that were already chopped, so it made it super easy for me. So I didn't have to chop that, right? And then I'm just going to add those and let those meet the onions and the garlic and have a party, right? I do want to try to make sure that's in like a single layer so that way everything has good contact with the heat until I'm ready for my next ingredient. So we're going to let that go for a couple more moments. The next thing I will add will be my cauliflower. And see, the thing is, with the cauliflower, so it's fried rice, but you're not really frying rice. If you wanted to really make fried rice, what you would do is, so let's say you did this stuff, you have your onions, your garlic, your carrots in. The next thing you do, you have to use old rice though, like a day, at least a day old rice. So let's say you made rice yesterday and you want to eat it again, use that leftover rice and you use that. So what I would do is I'll basically just create a hole in my in the center. I will add my fried rice, and like you would have oil in here, like actual oil in there. And so then what you would do is actually fry it at that point. But we're not exactly doing that because I don't want to put a bunch of oil into this because I want to keep this as low fat as possible, you know. And you're not going to really get a good fry on cauliflower anyways, you know. So what you do next, but you still go through the same kind of like mechanics. So I'm going to add my cauliflower in. At this point, you can turn up your heat because it's going to release a lot of water, and you don't want to steam your vegetables. You want to get like a good saute on them, right? So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. And then I'm just going to kind of toss everything in. So you might be wondering, okay, how is this going to taste like fried rice? Because you said it's fried rice. I want to taste it. I want it to taste like fried rice, right? I'm like, yeah, totally get it. I got you. It's coming, right? But right now, I'm just going to make sure it all kind of marries really nicely together, right? Alright, so how do you get it to taste like fried rice? Okay, here's the secret. I'm going to let y'all in on the secret. Alright, so it's sesame oil. You use some sesame oil. It gives that good sesame flavor. It gives that kind of oil like, ooh, this was fried, but not really. And the thing is, you don't even have to use a lot, which is really cool, right? And you don't want to use a lot because with sesame oil, it has a really low smoke point. It will burn real quickly, so you don't want to use a lot. But you just want to use a little bit so you get that nice little flavor. It'll give it a nice little coloring, make it look like it's fried. It's real good. It's real great, right? So, and the thing about the cauliflower, you're not trying to make it like, it's already really small, so it's not going to take it long to cook through. You're really just trying to heat it up at this point. You're not trying to like brown it or anything, because it's not going to get, if it starts to change color, that means you overcooked it. You don't want to go that far. Your color is going to come in from the different seasonings you're going to add, okay? So, that's pretty cool. I like how that's looking. So now I'm going to add a little bit of our sesame oil. And I just pour a little bit in across the top. And so this, if I was to measure it out, I use about a tablespoon of sesame oil. It's about what you need. And so that's going to give off a really cool flavor. It's going to start smelling like fried rice in here. It's going to be awesome. And so then I'm going to let that, you know, get married. Be awesome. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add, what should I do next? I'm going to add my eggs because it's fried rice. You usually have eggs in fried rice, right? Like, it's funny. Eggs are another one of those things I'm really weird about. I don't like eggs. I cannot do eggs at all, but I can do them in fried rice. So I'm going to add some. I'm going to just let the pan get back up to heat because we've added a lot of ingredients. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. And so I'm just going to use, let's say probably 2 eggs, I think would be good. I like to crack my eggs in a separate bowl just so I don't get shells in my food, you know. There's nothing cool or nothing fun about getting shells in your food. So while I prepare for the eggs, what I'm going to do, you come in. I'm just creating a little hole so then that way, that's on the center part where the heat is the highest. So that way I have a place for my eggs to go. I'm going to do 2 eggs, so I'll just put them over here. And so I just crack them, you know. Just like that, real simple. 1 egg, 2 eggs. And then I'm going to scramble them in the container. If you're dealing with like raw chicken, if you're dealing with eggs, you want to make sure you wash your hands good, real quick in between, so then that way you're not like cross-contaminating anything, because salmonella poisoning would be horrible, you know. So I'll just take a fork and I'm just going to scramble them up right quick. So you're just breaking the yolk, getting it all good and mixed up. And so then I'm just going to put it in the center. And so now I'm going to season the eggs to make sure, and this is where most of my seasoning is going to come in. And so, you know, you have fried rice. Another real, you know, popular seasoning you do with fried rice is your soy sauce. I also like this chili paste. It's really good. I love it. It's basically just chili paste. I think that's all that's in there. Well, it's like chilies and some other like seasonings and stuff, but it's really good. I either use this or I use sriracha. Like, you could use either one. I like this one. It's not like super hot, but it has a really good spicy feel or spicy taste. I like to use both. And so I'm just going to add my soy sauce. If you're worried about your sodium level, so mind you, the only salt we've put in here so far is that pinch of salt I put over my onions. So really, you can add quite a bit of the soy sauce and not be an issue. I know soy sauce has a lot of sodium. People are worried about that. But you can use, one thing you can do is use low sodium soy sauce, and then that cuts it out. But the thing is that you don't really have to worry about it because there's not a lot of salt. So actually the dish really needs some sodium right now. So you don't have to be like, oh, soy sauce. It's cool, right? So I'm just going to add quite a bit, and I'm going to put it across the top as well. This is going to help color our fried rice. and give it a little bit more color. And then I'm going to add some chili sauce. So I like a lot. I like a lot of spice. So I'm going to add quite a bit into it. But you don't have to add a lot. If you don't like a lot, you can add a little bit. Or you don't have to add any at all. Honestly, it's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to get another spoon. Actually, I'm going to use this one. Alright, so basically what I've been doing, I've been waiting for the bottom part of the egg to like cook a little bit. And then you just kind of drag it across. Just like you would just regular scrambled eggs. So you kind of drag and then fill. And then drag, expose the stove, and then fill. Because I'm not trying to overcook my eggs. I just want them just cooked because then they're going to keep cooking from the residual heat that's in the pan. And then you can just toss them around. I don't want big chunks of egg, but I want to make sure that they're distinguished. Like, oh my goodness, your eggs are no longer yellow. It's okay. It's all good. All good. We're doing just fine. Don't freak out. So like now they're basically done. They're going to continue cooking as the heat gets to it, but now I'm going to just start it all together to combine it. Because I don't want just chunks of egg. I want my eggs to be like throughout. And that helps like make sure it makes it a little bit like look more like fried rice. It's not just start white anymore. It looks like, okay, that might have hit some heat, you know? So I'm just mixing that up together. And I'm going to continue to just stir it around, mix, right? So now we're in the home stretch. So I'm going to add a couple more ingredients. I like snow peas in my fried rice. I think that's kind of like a fun. I usually do this more so in like stir fry, but I wanted to add as many vegetables as possible. Just because I mean, you want to get all your servings of vegetables that you need. And so this is an easy way to get like a lot of vegetables in one dish. So I'm just going to put them on top. I'm not going to, I don't want them to cook long because I want them to kind of still be a little crisp when I eat them. And the thing is, you want to be mindful of when you're doing like meal prep, you have to be mindful of the fact that you're going to put, some of these meals are going to go in the refrigerator and you're going to be reheating them. So you don't want all your vegetables to be cooked all the way to fully cooked, because then when you reheat them, it's going to be mush. So these can afford to be a little bit on the al dente side, a little bit more on the raw side, because most of these are going to be going in the refrigerator. What I liked about all these recipes, like for instance, like the fried rice, this was a really good one to put in the freezer. So like, let's say for example, I did this on a Sunday. I would have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. My Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I keep in the refrigerator. All the rest I put in my freezer. And so you want recipes that are going to hold up well when you take them, put them in the freezer, when you defrost them, when you reheat them. This is one of those dishes that holds up really well. If you're kind of still iffy on the cauliflower rice, one thing you can do is add some regular rice to it. So let it be part rice, part cauliflower rice. So you still got some rice in there, but it's not as much, so your calories are going to be lower. You're getting more servings of vegetables. It's really cool, right? So I'm just going to kind of stir these in. And that's going to be pretty much it for that one. I'm going to add one more ingredient. Well, actually two more. Bean sprouts. I like bean sprouts, particularly in my fried rice. So I'm just going to add a couple. You do these really at the end because you don't necessarily want them to cook all the way through. They don't need to. So I'm just going to put them like on the top, sprinkle them throughout, so I can have a nice little crisp. Again, this is something you don't necessarily need to cook all the way through because it's nice to have that kind of fresh crunch throughout, right? Okay, and so then the last, for this time, the last ingredient that y'all haven't seen yet at least, sesame seeds. So we have sesame seed oil, and then I'm going to add a little bit of sesame seeds. It gives you that same flavor, kind of continues that flavor, but then it also gives you a nice little crunch throughout. One thing you can do if you go to like your international aisle, usually you can get your spices there, and they're actually cheaper than if you go to the spice section. So like the sesame seeds were cheaper over there than was in the bacon aisle. The cilantro that I had was cheaper over there than it was in the bacon aisle. So like, because sometimes these ingredients can be a little bit on the pricey side. So one thing you can do, just check there, and you might get them for a cheaper price. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my chicken back in. Chicken's been hanging out for a little while. Just gonna add it back in. I'm gonna toss it to combine it because I don't want all my chicken in one bite. I want my chicken to be spread out. And yeah, that one's now done too. So now all of our meals are done. So I'm gonna show you guys briefly how my day would look with all the meals I've created, right? So give me 1 second. So I move some stuff out the way. And I'll show you guys kind of like how I would necessarily eat all this. Okay, so my breakfast is already done. It's in the cup. It's already ready to go. So then the next thing I would have is my, let me move this off. There we go. So the next thing is for my lunch. So how will I do this? So I like to have my chicken salad over regular salad. So then that way I'm getting more vegetables in. Vegetables are usually the one of the fruit groups that kind of lack in. I tend to go really heavy on grains and go really heavy on protein. So I want to make sure I'm getting fruits and vegetables in throughout my day. So I'm really mindful of that. So I'll do like a bed of lettuce. And then I would add my chicken salad. So I basically made enough for like, basically, this is about 3 portions worth, so I will only use about this much of it. Or unless I was feeling generous, I might just do 2 portions. That's okay as well. And so that will be that for that. So I have my chicken salad. That's together. The next thing with that, I will have a fruit cup. I always try to do some type of fruit. So like these are really convenient. Applesauce that are in those little containers are really convenient. Or I might just do whole fruit, just depending on how I feel that day. With that, I would have some type of like chip, something crunchy, something. So like this week I'll be doing like vegetable straws. They're kind of like potato chips, but they're made out of actual like other vegetables besides potatoes. So I think there's like broccoli, there's carrots, all sorts of stuff in here. In this particular case, this is when it's good to kind of use a scale. So on the label, it says that a serving is 1 ounce. And so I can easily do 1 ounce on the scale. But already says you can count out 40 straws. So you can either do either one. They tell you right there on the packaging, but it'll be quicker to do it on the scale. But I'm not really that pressed, so I'm just going to put some in the bag. So I know that's not 40, but that's enough. I wouldn't want to try to eat more than that. With it, I have some naan. I really like it. It's really good. I will heat this up tomorrow. Or I could put it in the toaster. It's really good to have kind of like, oh, I have my chicken salad. It's my little piece of bread. Go with it, you know? So I will just package that out. Take one out. And then I just put them in a little baggie. So the thing is, you can either go as far as literally planning out each meal, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. These are my snacks. This is what I'm having. Or you could easily just stop at the actual, once you get done cooking, put it in the Tupperware, like the bigger, like one of these, and put it in your refrigerator and be done with it. That could be it. Or you could go as far as doing the individual meals. I like to do the individual meals just because the way my work schedule is, one, I have a long commute. I drive a lot for my job. By the time I get home, I'm exhausted. I don't want to think about anything. I want to be able to grab and go like droop, 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 and then everything be set. So I take the time on Sundays to go ahead and do this whole thing. So then throughout my week, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not, making bad decisions. Because, if you're hungry and you're on your way home and like you don't have dinner like ready, you're easily to stop at some type of fast food, get somebody's $5 box, and then that'll be your dinner, right? But the thing is like if I plan ahead, I can make sure that I'm having really good, nutritious meals throughout my week and not actually worry about it. So that's why I do it. I think it works for me. About 3 o'clock, I get hungry again. We're kind of snackish. So I have, this is cashews, almonds, and dried cranberries. I like these because they're already packaged. These are actually only 100 calories the way they package it, which is cool. I don't necessarily, you don't want to get too like crazy with your snacks where it's like a whole bunch of calories, because after a while you're like, oh, you could just eat a meal, you know? So yeah, that's my snack. And so then the last one would be my dinner. And so my dinner is my rice. So take my spoon. With my dinner, I will actually measure that one out because that's more than 2 servings. Okay, so with my scale, I just tear it out to make sure it says 0. I just turned it off. And then I will go for about 10 or so ounces. Between 9 and 10. I'm not that like stringent where I don't like give myself some leeway. But 10 is really good, I feel. Now you don't have to go this far if that's not your thing or you're not as worried about it. I just want to make sure that I actually have enough for the entire week, you know? So we're at 10.1, so I'm cool with that. And that would be my dinner. And so then I just package that up. And so there you have it. I have my lunch, my breakfast, my lunch, a snack, and my meal. And that was it. So it's what, maybe 45 minutes roughly? Yeah, I'm pretty much done. Were there any questions? Go ahead. I have an assistant, guys. She didn't want me to shout her out, but I'm really happy that she's here and she's helping me. So I'm really excited. Wait, you want me to ask? Oh, if y'all got questions, you can go for it. You can go ahead and ask. But yeah, you can just put them in the comments. And I'll just dance until I get the question.
Do you want to hear comments so far?
Oh yeah.
Jamie says, thank you for doing this. Gia says, I need to learn how to multitask like this. Tara says, I'm going to try this. And Bill Russell says, this is amazing.
Cool. That's awesome. So yeah, if you guys have any questions like later, you can just put them in the comments and I'll come back and answer them. But that's pretty much it. I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. I just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for my assistant who helped. And thanks for hanging out with me. So I will see you guys next month. Third Thursdays are what we're doing now. We're going to do a different mini course on a different topic. If there's anything you want to know about, if there's anything you have questions about or want me to do on the topic of, like a whole mini course on, just let me know and we'll do it. So yeah, thanks for watching.